Welcome everyone to Everyday Empires podcast. I'm here with Yash Agrawal. Yash is an ex-investment banker, future entrepreneur, and this segment we're going to talk about his investment banking days. So we talked about the first segment, his early life living in Dubai. Then we talk about being an international student in Nottingham. Second segment was getting into the workplace, how he got his first job, what it was like, and millennials versus Gen Z, and there's some fun stuff in there as well. This segment's going to be your second job. So you spent about a year and a little bit in equity research.
Correct.
And then you got the big analyst job at a prestigious investment bank. What was that like?
Okay, so I think for context, I didn't actually want to leave my old job. I loved my old job. Like, I'll be honest, at that time, I was getting a lot of offers because this is the thing about like corporate life, right? Getting through the door is hard, but once you're there, getting jobs and opportunities after that is a lot easier, as you I'm sure you know. But you know, I really didn't want to leave my equity research job. I was really enjoying it. I think I loved the process. I loved what I was doing. But for whatever reason, someone reached out to me about this job. I just thought, fuck it, I'll just apply, and see where it goes. I didn't really like, and it's funny, I had a lot of M&A job offers before, but I wasn't really that interested in doing them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, look, this is what I'm doing. I don't want to get into M&A and IPOs or investment banking. Yeah, I ended up applying and I did the whole process. And through the process, it kind of started making sense to me why I wanted to do it in the first place. Because I think that first job was amazing from a technical perspective. I was really developed my skills and I really understood a lot more about the MENA market and the different stock markets here in the region. But I didn't think I had the training, the proper training or skill set, like the hard skills, like developed properly. So I think I wanted to, just like making slides and communicating ideas and structuring thoughts. I don't think I had that training there in that particular role. And I thought, if I did this, it could maybe give me that. And that honestly, that was my reason for even considering applying. It really wasn't the money. Like, I really didn't know what I would be getting paid. I had no idea. Obviously I knew it was a high paying job, but I didn't really rationalize it. But yeah, I mean, look, firstly, I think it's important we define what investment banking is, because it's pretty simple, but it seems to be something that like is like some mystery, It's extremely simple. All we're trying to do is investment bankers try to match people who need money with people who can basically give that money, right? That's in a very core fundamental way. That's the best way to define it. It's just matching people who have needs with people who have the ability to fill those needs, right? There's kind of three different divisions within an investment. Like when you say you work in investment banking, it's not the same as you say when you work in an investment bank, because an investment bank has equity research, sales and trading. Investment banking is just one function of an investment bank, right? But within investment banking, there's kind of three product groups, if you like. There's ECM, DCM, and M&A. So ECM stands for equity capital markets. And basically what you're doing is you're advising companies who are looking to list their stocks, or basically IPO on these exchanges. You're basically advising them through that entire process, and you're basically getting them onto the market, right? And again, your job and your role is advising. You're not investing money in any of these businesses. It's a sell side role. So again, because it's sell side, we're not deploying capital. So that's ECM. DCM is debt capital markets. So similar to an IPO, when a company maybe wants to potentially raise a bond, which a bond in very simple terms is just another form of debt. If you kind of want to get financing to build a new machine or a new factory or whatever it is, a bond allows you to do that. It's just an instrument. And essentially, again, you're just advising the company through the entire process to basically market the bond, okay? And then M&A, which is, as you would think, is mergers and acquisitions. And it's essentially you're either helping a company get acquired or helping a company acquire another company, right? You're just advising through that process, right? That's essentially what investment banking is. Now, when I got the job, and I remember we had a very deep conversation about this because, I really didn't know, I didn't really want to do it, to be honest with you, because I really did enjoy what I was doing. I kind of got the offer, and but through the process, I just got more interested in the possibility of doing it. And I got the offer, and I was like, yeah, look, I spoke to everyone, spoke to my old boss, and he was amazing about it. He was like, look. And this is something that's important. Don't be afraid to tell your boss about these. This is pretty normal. This is a very normal corporate thing. You get offers all the time. And I went to my boss to generally seek advice. I was like, look, I really like what I'm doing. I'm not really sure why I would want to do this, but I think it would be helpful for me in the long term, right? And he was super helpful. He's like, look, I'll arrange a call. We can speak about it, and like he pros and cons did that with me. I did the same exercise. I spoke to different people, and I was like, look, I think this is the best thing for me, and I took up the offer. My life changed. My life changed a lot.
So you spent 2 years, just over 2 years.
Correct. 2 years and a month. Yeah, 2 years and a month as an analyst at an investment bank, doing investment banking.
Were you ECM, DCM, M&A, or all three?
So we were primarily just doing ECM and M&A. There is a DCM team, but we weren't doing that. We were just doing ECM and M&A. We were sector agnostic, so basically there was no specific industry group. So generally with the bulge bracket banks like your Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanleys, etc., they arrange themselves by sectors, so industrials, financials, because they're doing enough deals in those sectors to be able to do that. But we were basically sector agnostic. We had no specific sector, which was honestly the best possible thing I could ask for because I got such a wide range of experiences, our focus was ECM and M&A. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Did you have a preference for either one?
Oh, I loved ECM. Oh man, doing an IPO is way better than doing an M&A, bro. Dude, because M&As are like, they could go on forever. They could never conclude, But with an IPO, there's like a defined timeline, There's like a step-by-step timeline, and like, whether this deal is going to happen, more than likely, whether it's going to happen. And you can see a bit of like the light, With M&A, it's like, no one fucking knows, like once you start, it's like whatever, it just keeps going, it's like something in the background just keeps happening, But IPOs are a lot more, and dude, IPOs are cool, I really enjoyed my time doing IPOs. But yeah, so look, I started my first day. My first day was crazy. Like, look, I've had a lot of like kids. I'm saying kids. I'm fucking my age, But like, I've had a lot of people essentially message me, asking me about banking and like, wanting to know more about it, etc. They're all just super like, I really want to do investment banking, and like, I don't mind the hours, and you don't know what you're talking about, Like, unless you live that life, no one understands what it means to like work in investment bank. It's like a parallel reality going on, Like, it's just completely different, Look, obviously my experience with investment banking was, I think everyone gets pretty fucked and really rough hours, but like mine was, I'm not going to say it was more than anyone else's at all, but like it was definitely a little bit on the heavier side in terms of the work. That's only because, we were in a small team, and at the time, surprisingly, this is the luck. Markets just popped off. MENA markets was pumping because the governments were trying to push IPOs, transform the capital markets, and basically improve liquidity. And essentially, they were going on this massive transformation from moving away from the oil to the non-oil. So this was kind of all playing into the macro themes that were going out. And so the whole capital market scene was completely like on steroids, and it's still on steroids, by the way. So therefore, the workflow that was happening was like nothing like this region has seen in the last 10, 15, 20 years. It's never been like this, But, so yeah, I just happened to be joining into a situation that was fucked, but no, dude, I remember, coming back to those hours that we were talking about, everyone likes to think they can work 80 to 100 hours a week. It's not easy, it is psychologically fucks you up, like it really fucks you up. Look, I remember my first day, I kind of, I remember them asking me, like they gave me a task and they're like, do you know what a PE is? And like, this is the equivalent of asking me like, like at the time, with already, yeah, I know it's only 1 year of like buy-side experience, but this was I was doing that on a minute, it's like second by second basis, I could write a dissertation on the PE, and they were asking me that. And I instantly realized in that moment, I need to be humble here. I need to really like listen to what these guys are saying and kind of relearn a lot of what I learned, because the way they obviously use the same technical knowledge is very different to how I learned it as well, So I really had to be humble and just really listen, because these guys obviously know more about what they're talking about than I do, for sure. And I can never assume that I know more, But yeah, that was my first day, and I ended up staying till like 2-3 a.m. in my suit on the first day, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Was it something they said, or did you just find that the workflow was just there and you just happened to be sitting there till 2?
No, you're working till 2-3. No, we're not like chilling, like this is not like we're waiting for our boss to leave. No, you're getting fucked, like you're working, like everyone's working. No, there's no like it's I'll get more into the vibes of like how the night what the night vibes are, but no, dude, like it's an intense job, it's a very intense job, but like, look, if you know why you're doing it, then it's good. It's a really, really good opportunity. If you can get to do it, it's a super transformative opportunity. And I think it really matters what you want. If you're doing it for the money, good luck, man. Like, it's hard to motivate yourself with the money, because after like your first big paycheck, you'll just be like, bro, like, this doesn't mean shit. I remember getting my first bonus and I was like, okay, now what? I'm just gonna go back to getting fucked, So like, what's the difference? What's the difference in my life, But no, look, those first 6 months in banking was, if I thought my first 6 months in equity research was hard, this was something else, Like, this was something else. I remember one of my associates telling me, when you join banking, there's a you before banking and there's a you after banking. Your whole life you have to shed. Your expectations of your life, forget about them. Like don't expect to have a weekend. Just and I know I'm saying this in a joking way, but like I'm being dead serious. Like for the first 6 months, I had to learn how to be okay with just working 24/7. Like this was like I'm not exaggerating. Like, getting up instantly from my bed, I'm on my emails, and then by the time I'm home, it's already like 3-4 a.m. I'll go through the day by day, but like I'm literally sitting in my room with my cold food, and I'm just there at 4 a.m. eating, just watching something for 10 minutes, and going to sleep, and then going back to work. That's it. That's my life. Like 7 days a week. 5 days a week, and then the weekends as well is pretty much work. Like there's no like break here, you just work. Like there's nothing else, If you get an opportunity to have a weekend, enjoy it, like fucking enjoy it. But like very rarely do you're not, dude, your brain is so wired. Like you fundamentally are a different person, like it's an impossible thing to explain. Like that's why working 80 to 100 hours a week is not, it's not a joke, like it's easy to say I want to, like, oh, I'll do it, but like actually doing it is something else, man. It's definitely something else. But those first 6 months I really spent, like learning the basics, like literally, man, I used to type an email. I used to send that email to my associate before I even sent it out. If it's an external email, like it was that level of like, every single thing is on point all the time, and it has to be, because this is a business that's based on your selling quality. You know what I mean? Everyone in that job is high performers. Everyone in that job is super competitive, and everyone is good at what they do. Your bosses above you are all extremely smart individuals and all extremely talented in their own ways, and it's a very competitive environment, and it's not just about the work. It's really not about the work. Even if you haven't slept for like whatever 2-3 days, like you have to come and like you have to be a little bit social. You can't just be like you have to it's not, you can't just shut it off. You have to be who you are. But yeah, look, so those first 6 months was genuinely me learning the very basics about if I'm writing an email, how am I structuring my emails, formatting my emails in a specific way, formatting every single thing that comes out of my inbox, whether it's an Excel, whether it's a PowerPoint, Oh my god, dude, I was so shit at making slides. I was fucking trash, dude. I was always shit at arts, you know. Like arts is never my thing, you know. So like I'm just not a creative guy, you know. But I like the numbers. I like the research, but I'm not a fucking creative guy, you know. So I was fucking shit at slides, you know. And my associates let me know, you know. He knows who I'm talking about. You know, if he's listening to this, he knows who I'm talking about. You know, he gave me shit for like 3 years about it, whatever, 2 years about it, you know. But no, and you know, I'm literally learning how to make a slide, because the way you make a slide in banking is very different to the making slides in like normal life. You know, you're making like razor sharp documents where every single, like, you know, the messaging is on point, the way you format it, it's all aligned, the font is perfect, like this, you've sourced it properly, you know, like the numbers are like triple checked, you know. This is like it's about perfection in everything you do, you know what I mean? And the level of attention to detail and I know people think they have attention to detail. Man, it's on a different scale, bro. It's so much on a different scale that like most people who fucking work in banking after a year have OCD, bro. Like literally, they literally are all OCD as fuck about everything. You know, they like even out like just like everything in your, like, you know, you go outside, you're reading a menu in the restaurant, you're like, oh, this is not a line, you know. like, you know, it becomes a bit crazy, you know. But no, dude, it was those first 6 months were tough, man. They were really tough, because just getting used to the volume of work, fuck, man, like it was hard, because you're not fast enough, you don't know it, not done this enough, you don't know enough, man. Just keeping my eyes open was a challenge. Like, I swear to God, dude, there was one of the transactions we were working on, my associate, it was like 2-3 a.m. Me and some other analysts, my same class, you know, we're sitting there behind this associate, because there's a slide that we've tried like 5 different versions of, but we don't like any of them. And he's trying to basically rework the slide. And both of us are sitting behind him. And dude, we passed out. We were like literally out cold, and this guy's working, bro. And and like you know, during the day we're on calls, dude. There was a couple of times I went to sleep on the call, you know, because I was just like, on my fucking desk. I'm sitting on my desk, and my eyes are shutting. You know, like, it was like if I didn't drink coffee before, which I didn't, I definitely started fucking consuming caffeine, dude. Yeah, no, those first 6 months were tough, man. Very tough.
So walk me through, like, what does an analyst physically do?
Yeah, sure. So look, I think the best way to describe it is I'll kind of walk you through a day. Whatever, you're up whenever you're up. You get to the office whenever you get to the office. Generally speaking, most banks, like, they don't start working at 9 a.m. They start working at like they're physically in the office like 10, you know, 10:30, and then you actually start the work. I mean, it depends, you know, but because most of the times, this is only specific to the juniors, right? Because the juniors have late nights, and so they end up coming in a bit later. And basically, the second I get up on my bed, I'm instantly on my emails, right? Because maybe my associate has woken up early. So the structure for a bank is there's an analyst, there's an associate, there's an AVP, a VP, director, and an MD. Okay, that's generally the structure of most of these investment banks. And you know, my associate might have reviewed my work from last night. Generally, that's probably not happened, but like in general, there's, you know, some emails that have come through from clients, etc. You're just kind of you're just starting your day off, you know. Then I'd basically reach the office, and the first thing I'd do is I wouldn't start work. I'd walk downstairs, have a smoke, like just to prepare myself for what's about to happen. And then you basically that first like morning chunk of it is, honestly, it's mostly just calls, right? Because clients they're working 9 to 5, right? You're not working 9, but they're working 9 to 5, right? So you're kind of dealing with you know, you're getting on calls talking about the process, or you're having an issue with this transaction, you're trying to sort it out. Generally speaking, from an analyst perspective on these calls, you're just listening and taking notes. Generally speaking, you're not speaking. Okay, like if you're first year, you're definitely not speaking. Depends. Some banks, like for example, with my bank, because we were a lot flatter, you know, most deal teams, like if you're at a bulge bracket, you're gonna basically have whatever, like you're going to have like 50 people on a transaction, right? You'll have the guy that's like the research expert, you'll have the guy that's the industry expert, and you'll have like different teams and shit. No. Like with us, it was like there was one analyst, there's one associate, and you basically did everything, like A to Z, you did everything, like from an execution perspective, you did everything, But so you get on these calls, right? And then essentially as an analyst, you're just taking the notes, and it's so crazy that even after you've taken the notes, you sit down and you clean up these notes, like you make them structured, you make them proper, because sometimes you share these notes on emails. And yeah, whilst that's going on, there could be a time where I'm taking the notes, but I'm also doing something else at the same time, because it's just that intense. It's never like, because essentially the way the job works is you as an analyst are staffed on 4 or 5 transactions, right? So 2 could be IPOs, 2 could be M&As, 1 could be something else, Each of them have their own needs. Each of them are on their own timeline. Each of them have their own deadlines. It's like imagine working on like a college essay, right? Like you have a deadline for, and you're working for that deadline, but there's more college essays coming up as you keep working. You know what I mean? That's kind of the best way to describe it is, it's not static. It's super dynamic. It's super fast paced. You just got to keep up. Like it's just as simple as that. So after that kind of 5 p.m., the new day starts. Okay, which is basically you start the actual work, the execution work. Which is you're either making slides, which is generally what you're doing most of the times. You have documents for a number of reasons, right? You're trying to explain something or trying to pitch something. So from an analyst perspective, what you're actually doing is you're preparing all the material. So like whether it be the research to put onto the slides or actually making the slides, handling the Excels, building the models, you're basically getting your hands dirty with all of the work. You're really the workhorse on this, right? And your associate is essentially guiding you through that process. Sometimes they'll help you, but generally speaking, you're the one kind of pushing the ball or keeping the ball rolling, But yeah, that's generally what the workflow is for an analyst, yeah.
Were you a good one?
Was I a good one? I think I was a good analyst. No, I think I was a good analyst.
Why?
I think I was a good analyst because I had a lot of ownership over the work I was doing. Like whatever transaction I had, I was super like, this is my transaction. I'm going to do the best I can do, And I was having conversations with my associates, the same types of conversations that they would be having with the MDs, And the reason for that was because I actually loved the process. I loved the transaction. I wanted to succeed. So, I'll have the conversation that, do you think we'll execute this deal at X? Like it wasn't so much just about he's giving me instruction, I'm just doing it, And that's what a good analyst should be doing is you're actually thinking, and you're thinking for yourself. And most importantly, you have an opinion and you're sharing your opinion. You're not scared to share your opinion. But that's really what it is. And it's about anticipating what the next step is, right? My associate asked me for X. I know instantly he's also going to expect me to have done Y. He doesn't need to tell me. I know I need to do it. That's basically what kind of makes a good analyst. But yeah, no, dude, banking was fucking crazy, dude. Like it's a different, like it's a different lifestyle, man. It's like nothing anyone can ever imagine. You just got to do it, dude. Like, and I don't know if a lot of people have kind of seen that Goldman Sachs survey. It's a pretty universal. Like, if you work in banking, this is kind of why it's so desirable for employers, is because if you've worked in banking, you know what the other person's gone through. So this person can pretty much do anything. Like this person's capable of putting their head down and doing anything, if they wanted to. And that's kind of why bankers are so like sought after in the job market. But so those kind of 6 months were very formative for me. Like I was just kind of more than just a job. I was just learning how to be a junior banker. Learning how to shut up. That's the biggest thing, because you think work politics in your work is high, it's on steroids in an investment bank. You know what I mean? Like, because everyone has needs. This MD needs a pitch now, but the other MD needs this deck done now. Who are you picking? How are you going to pick them? How are you going to manage the situation? It's a lot of that. It's a lot of like the tough parts of the job is actually not, because dude, the work itself, honestly is not hard. I don't think anyone in banking will claim that the work is hard, because it's not. It's really not. At the junior level, it's not. Maybe at the senior level, it gets a little bit more creative and it's a little bit more, definitely more difficult, you know. But at a junior level, it's just stressful. There's just a lot of work.
If someone wants to get into investment banking, they tell you, Yash, I can handle the hours. Trust me. They tell you, I can handle the work. Trust me. What would you say to them?
Yeah, good luck. No, man. Like, I had these conversations. And I was just like, look, I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing it. And I don't think anyone should not. Like, if you really want to do it, you should have a crack at it, for sure, you know. But, like, just be aware of what you're getting yourself into, you know, to some extent. Because, you know, that's why this is why bankers are kind of, yes, you know, and there's always the stereotypes, oh, they're assholes, etc., etc. But, like, they're super transparent people. You know what I mean? When I was having my interviews, the people who were interviewing me told me very honestly, they're like, look, you're coming into a team that's very stretched and the pipeline is massive. There's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be super intense, you know? Why would he tell me that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's very transparent, because think of yourself like, you know, I'm not saying that this is the case, but like, you're kind of like a performance athlete in a way, right? And when they hire you, you have to, dude, you're working 18 hours a day with these people, like 15 to 8, whatever, 15 hours a day with these people, you know, like the biggest thing they want is someone that's likable, you know, they don't want a fucking dickhead, you know, it doesn't matter how smart you are, you know, but like if you don't have a nice vibe to you, you're not a nice guy, you know, like you just won't, like you're just not going to fit in, you know, because when it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and things are rough, like you don't want the guy next to you that's the smartest. You want the guy that just has a good attitude, he'll get it done with you and he'll do it, like we'll figure out a way together, you know. The experience was different, dude. It's just different, you know. And I think it's really not for everyone, man. It's really not for everyone.
Do you look back fondly at those days?
Oh, 100%, dude. 100. Like, obviously, in the moment, I fucking hated my life, dude. Oh my god, I can't even tell you how much. Every day it was just, oh, I'm just going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. And literally the conversation, everyone around you, all they're talking about is quitting. You know? Everyone is just like, I want to fucking leave. You know, everyone hates their fucking life, you know, but everyone is doing it, you know? So, no, it's one of those environments where like, you make it what you want to make it, you know? But I think, look, I think just to be, I can give you a story of like the intensity, you know? So one of the days we were staffed on what's called an RFP, request for proposal. So we had like essentially 100-page, 150-page deck due within like a week. I remember, so, you know, to be honest, at that time, if you were going home at like 1 a.m., that's early, you know what I mean? Like that's a good night, you know? You could have a proper like chilled out session, you know? You could like stay up till 2, 3 and like, you know, chill out and just go to sleep, you know? But those couple of like those first 2-3 days, they were like the Wednesday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday. Sorry, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday. We pretty much stayed up till 3 or 4, just getting the deck like going. And then on the weekend, so Friday, I think, we spent the night in the office. So basically for that entire weekend, we spent the entire weekend in the office. Like we slept on, like literally under our desk. Like I'm not exaggerating. Wow. Like we were actually sleeping under our fucking desks. My friend, like, and you know, we literally had to slap ourselves to like stay awake, you know, because you're like, bro, like this is not fucking getting done otherwise, you know? And dude, we were fucking zombies, bro. Like I literally saw people come to their shift, go home to their shift, and then see them the next day when they started their next shift, you know? Where I was still in my same clothes for those 3 days, sleeping on the floor, you know? And you think, you know, you're in fucking DIFC, you know, you're in like a nice area, great restaurants, good vibes. You know, you're going downstairs in the night and you're seeing all these people having the time of their lives. And you're there like, bro, I'm going to be here for a couple of days, you know, like it's rough. And I think by the end of that process, like I think in the daytime, I remember I had like heart palpitations, and I'm not even like exaggerating. I genuinely thought like I had a fucking heart problem, you know, by the end of it. But so yeah, it is fucking intense, you know.
Yeah. So why did you decide to leave?
Why did I decide to leave? Yeah, so look, I think I was doing really well in the sense of I felt super comfortable when I was about to leave. I felt super comfortable with where I was at with my work, and I think I earned the respect of my colleagues and my peers and my seniors. And I think I was in a very good place. But I think what ended up happening was I realized, look, I'm 25, I'm doing really well for myself, but I don't feel, I see my seniors and I like my MDs and stuff, and I don't want to live their lives, you know? Or like, it's not about not wanting to live their lives. I also just, the work itself, which just was not intellectually stimulating for me anymore. You know, I was just like, bro, this is not like, it's just not fun. You know, at this point, I'm just like killing myself for nothing, you know, like I'm not really interested anymore. And I kind of wanted to push myself. I was like, look, I have no commitments, I have no responsibilities. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I definitely want to do it like a business. You know, I want to give it a go. If it fails, fuck it. You know, like I'm 25, what's the worst that's going to happen, you know? I had a little money saved up in my account through the job, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to pull the trigger and we'll see what happens, you know? And then, yeah, obviously now where I am. Yeah.
And just quickly, when we round off, so you're in that sort of semi-ideation phase where you're fleshing out a business idea that you have right now, and you're committed to this entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. No, so look, I was ideating, but I would say I'm no longer ideating. Like I'm like executing. So look, after I left my job, I mean, it was a super intense experience for me. You know, like I don't know, maybe I'm soft, but like it was a rough experience.
You're no Gen Z.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough experience, bro. But the first 2 months, I just kind of like just traveled. I stayed with you for a month. We played cricket together. I loved it. Had a great time with you. By the way, I also taught him how to gamble.
One time only.
No, he's addicted. Wow, I swear he was telling me one of the nights, like, let's go again. I was like, no. This is how it starts. Yeah, then after that, I kind of explored. When I was in London, I kind of came up with a couple of ideas, and I was like, fuck it, let me just try to like explore this a bit and see where it goes. So I came back to Dubai and I started like exploring the idea. I went super in depth. Like I started meeting companies in the industry and like understood their business models, etc., etc. But honestly, I went through that process, and honestly, that process of going and researching and meeting people, so many new things come out of it. You know, things you don't expect to come out of it. And that was super helpful. But then after that, I kind of locked in on one idea, and I've been just focusing on like executing on it. Because look, dude, ideas they'll come plenty. There are plenty of good ideas, etc. You know, but it's not really about like, it's about actually executing and starting. Because, dude, starting is the hardest thing about doing a startup. Like actually starting the fucking business is hard. Idea is easy. Like the idea will come, you can do the research, whatever. But like actually going down and just starting the work is fucking hard. You know, it's not easy. And that's basically where I'm at today. I'm just kind of going through that process now. Yeah.
Well, Yash, thank you so much for your time, man. Much appreciated. I'm looking forward to the next segment where you can talk about how this idea really fleshes out and how you've raised millions and you change the world.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I'm excited, bro. Hopefully, massive exit. You know, we'll see what happens.
Cheers, man. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, bro.